Hey guys, thank you for coming to part 2 of my How I Made Spinning series. And today we're going to go over how I made the demo for spinning and kind of how certain elements in this version became the final version of spinning, the one that I ended up releasing. So this version is a lot more stripped down, kind of just acoustic guitar and vocals, and a couple different elements that ended up growing into the final version of spinning. For example, to kind of get that ambient sound for the final version, I used that projector that went through the whole thing. But for the original demo, I used this crowd noise. And basically, what I did was I got one that went towards the left ear and one that went towards the right ear. So it kind of gave this sense of space to it. And that idea of space really carried on to the final version of spinning. But instead of using this crowd noise and the kind of split I did on there, I used like background vocals and different instruments to give that sense of space. So that's one element. Another element other than the acoustic guitar that kind of carried in was this sound right here that starts at the beginning of the second verse. I replaced this sound with a kick drum and some other drums. But basically what this was a footstep, so I kind of wanted that idea of the song's about kind of this dance, so I wanted the sense that you were dancing or something like that. So I got the sound of a footstep. So that's what it sounded like originally. So it sounds very tinny. There's a lot of high end on it. So basically what I did is I took parametric EQ, which is basically you're able to affect different parameters like the high end and the low end in different frequency ranges. So basically what this means is I took out all of the high end. So this is what it would have sounded like with all the high end. So you hear that ringing sound. So what I did is I just took out that high end and the ringing sound is gone. And I added some bass to it just to kind of get more of a thump, because the original was kind of more on the high end of the sound spectrum. So after that, I put in reverb. Sorry, that went away. I put in reverb. And so that just kind of made it sound like it was this bigger space. I think I used close to what a hall reverb is, which is making it sound like it's in a hall. And I think that really fit the song well. And that's just kind of where I came from creatively when I started producing this song. So the production side and the songwriting side are very different processes, but they overlap in many areas. So when you're writing the lyrics for a song, you want to capture the essence of what the song means and the story of the song. And when you're producing, although it's more instrumentals and you're not really messing with the lyrics or what it says, you want it to match. So one thing that was really important to me when I was producing this song was that it told just as much of a story in the instrumental as it did in the lyrics. And I think this demo started to kind of capture that. It captured the idea of what I was going for. Another thing that I did in this demo that I didn't end up including in the original version of the song, but was still very important, is with the acoustic guitars. So you'll notice the acoustic guitars sound kind of similar. I kept the same kind of meter to them, the same kind of feel to them. The one thing I changed is the song is in a higher key in the demo than it ended up being in the original. And that was just because I thought it was a little easier to sing in the final version of the song. And I just liked it more. So when I recorded this back in my dorm room about, I would say, in November, December of 2019. And I recorded 2 guitar tracks. So I'll isolate those for you. So I recorded one mic in front of my guitar. That gives you a better sense of it. And then I recorded one behind my guitar. So it sounds a little more muffled because you're not getting the direct sound of the guitar. And what I wanted to do with that was if you see all of this right here, what this is automation. So it's basically taking a certain parameter. In this case, it's the volume and the panning, which is the left and right stereo image of the song, and it's going back and forth between left and right, and the volume is dipping up and dipping down alternatively. So I took those two guitar tracks right here, and I made the volume go up on one as it goes down on the other. So you can kind of get that feel in there. And then once I put in this, which is the panning, so when you're wearing headphones, it kind of sounds like the guitar is spinning around you. And I thought that was a really cool idea. It ended up, once I had the final mix of this demo done, it sounded a little tacky. It took away from the vocals because all you were hearing was this guitar, and you were like, what's going on? Because it's spinning around you. It's just like if you've ever heard one of those videos where it sounds just like someone's knocking at the door and it really catches your attention. They're using the stereo image of that sound to make it come from a certain side of your headphones, kind of like that. So it kind of was distracting, and I wanted something that made you focus on what the lyrics were saying, but also kind of like feel the instrumental. Another thing I did in this demo was kind of to get some low end. I used that same miking technique for the guitar. It's really hard to hear, but basically that's just me slapping the guitar strings, and that was to give some low end to the sound. So yeah, a lot of these elements ended up being in the final version of Spinning, but when I got done with this whole demo, I realized that it wasn't something that I wanted to release in this capacity. It was something that I feel like could have been a lot bigger, and I'm really glad I ended up reworking it. So this was my original file for Spinning, and tomorrow I'm gonna show you what the final product looked like and go through the whole track in its entirety and talk about different elements. And then on Wednesday I'm gonna go over very specific details, kind of like the reversed vocal sample I used and different mixing techniques I used to kind of create the final product. So yeah, I think it'll be really cool to see the progression of what this looked like and what the final product looked like. So yeah, so this sounded a whole lot different, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more of these after I do Spinning in an Honest Take, please let me know. I really love doing this kind of stuff, and I've wanted to for a while. So yeah, thank you so much for watching.